It's time to get silly here. How did we get here? By Shoe0nHead. Looking at the thumbnail, I have no idea what a Nick Fuentes is, and honestly, I brought out the waifu model, so let's go into this. Let's have some laughs and let's be silly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to inform you that the rumors are indeed true. The Democrats have struck back. In the New Jersey governor's race, the Democrat won. In the Virginia governor's race, the Democrat won. And in the New York City race, Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani defeated Andrew Cuomo to become the next mayor of America's largest city. But the question on everyone's mind is, was it just a fluke? Just easy wins in blue cities and states? Or is there something more to this? Is this a sign of things to come? Is the Democratic Party finally turning their losing streak around? Are they actually listening to the people now? Did they finally learn their lesson? No. Thanks for watching.
You know, fair enough.
My last 3 videos about electoral politics were warning the Democratic Party that young men were moving right because the party f***ing sucks and was becoming the young men eat and die movement, spanking the Democratic Party for losing because they elected one of the most unlikable shittiest candidates while offering absolutely nothing to voters, and defending the voters from the wrath of a bunch of liberal streamer man-children calling the voters stupid and evil for daring not to vote for Hillary Clinton and brownface. But the thesis for all 3 of those videos was basically the same. As the right embraces working-class populism, the Democratic Party and the left will continue to fade into irrelevancy.
I wouldn't say that. So, and here's my citations. One, increasing tariffs, right? Which does affect domestic industry, right? It affects any industries dealing with steel, affects like your bottom of the barrel workers, right? And I say bottom of the barrel, and that's not really the correct term, right? Like you're on the ground, boots on the ground workers, right? We also had a majority where, oh yeah, guess what? Our military is just not getting paid for 40 days. I mean, I would assume our military not getting paid would count as a threat to national security. You know, but you know, I don't know. The NSA does whatever the NSA does. If I don't know what they do anymore, man. As well as something White House ballroom seems pretty not everyday worker centric. I mean, to be fair, I also just hate everybody. Like, bro, fire everybody. What do you mean it was 40 days? Oh my god, this is gonna be a fun one.
But as I also predicted in those last videos, there might be an eventual pendulum swing. No. And it might be happening much sooner than I predicted. Like, how did we go from Republicans winning the popular vote, in part thanks to a lot of the young people voting, to a bunch of data showing those same young people dropping their support for the GOP already? But the interesting thing is, those young people don't seem to be moving to the Democratic Party either. Where are they going? And do the Democrats have a plan to scoop these people up? Yes, they do, and they called it, I'm not kidding, deciding to win. Deciding to win, as if the whole time they have just been simply deciding to lose. It was a choice, guys. They changed their mind and they want to win now. In this video, I will talk about why I think Zohran Mamdani won. We will go through the Democrat Party's plan to decide to win. We will briefly talk about the rise of the political commentator Nick Fuentes, the MAGA civil war.
Oh, what is that?
We will briefly talk about the rise of the political commentator Nick Fuentes.
What is that? Why does he look like he's pinching in a really bad shit? Oh my god. Oh, he's sitting on a spiky log. Oh my god. Ooh, I'm so glad I'm out of the loop. That man, oh god. I can smell that image.
The MAGA civil war and what I like to call the inevitable rise of shoesalism. If that sounds interesting, stick around. If it doesn't, you can leave. It's not like I'll miss you or anything. But baka. I know a lot of you are not very interested in politics. You come here for the fun Reddit slop, the men versus women content. Yeah, I know. But unfortunately, politics kind of seeps into your lives, whether you want it to or not.
Bro, if I heard one more person ask me about Charlie Kirk, I was about to crash out. Like, that's all I'm gonna say on it. If I had one more person ask me, I was about to like like Golshi dropkick somebody. Bro, I am just sitting here playing games. I literally cannot comprehend your politics, right? But and that's obviously, like, you know, it seeps into everything that you do. Excuse me, still kind of sick. Oh, still kind of recovered being sick. So if I'm a little coffee, I apologize. But it's like here and now, right? And this thing, if you don't want to watch a video like this, that's perfectly fine. do what's best for you, right? I like money, right? To quote Idiocracy. I like money, I like metrics, but at the same time, do what's best for your own mental health. Do what's best for yourself. I know it's such a weird concept. I don't know, dude. Like,
so you might as well be entertained when you hear about it and have some fun with it when you can. And I just so happen to have the perfect app for that.
Oh no!
So before we get into this political deep dive, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, one of my favorite sponsors to work with, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers a transparent and easy way to read news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of political bias that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features on Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how the White House apparently intervened in an Andrew Tate federal probe. 29 news sources covered this. 86% of them were left-wing. None were right-wing. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see how political bias can affect framing. For example, this feud between Elon Musk and Billie Eilish. This right-wing headline reads, "Elon Musk claps back at Billie Eilish after she slams him for hoarding wealth."
Oh, so about that, going down to I went down to Tulsa. Literally the week Billie Eilish, I don't know how to pronounce her name, I apologize, had her concert. She sold out both nights. She drove up my hotel room price. Thank you, Billie Eilish.
And this left-wing article frames the same story as, "Elon Musk's comebacks are as flat as his attempts at jokes." Very different vibes going on here. I have been using Ground News since 2021 because it is just a great and fun way to keep up with the news. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code here on screen, or use the link in the video description down below. It's only like $5 a month, which is basically the price of like a coffee. You can also gift a subscription to somebody. Just select the Vantage subscription, add a customized gift message, and Ground News will send it straight to their inbox where they can activate it. The perfect Christmas present for your out-of-touch uncle who gets all his news from Facebook. So thank you, Ground News, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right?
I never skip the ad, dude. It's my favorite part. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I'm going to be honest. Length, I kind of started to tune out a little bit. That's not on her. That means that her mic work is good. Mic etiquette's good. She sounds good. Mixing and mastering in post is really good, right? So I kind of started to tune out a little bit, but that's just because her voice kind of added to the ad, if that makes sense. I mean, visuals were neat. Being able to have certain cuts, left, right, center showing shoe. QR code, I mean, I don't know what pushes it to a 10, but I mean, this was really, really good.
Now, let's get back to the video. For those of you familiar with the Shoe0nHead channel, you know I've harshly criticized the Democratic Party for all my career. Some say too harshly. Frankly, I don't care. And some—
No, I'm harsh on— see, here's the thing. I'm harsh on all sides, right? I am harsh on every single person, right? If you do one thing wrong, like for example, right? Let's say your state representative, I don't know, gets caught with some unflattering material, fire him. What happens if your state representative ends up, paying off somebody? Fire him. What happened? Or what was the one recently? Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to retire. No, force her to stay in. She is now lifelong. Do not let her escape. No, she has to stay in. But obviously you can't force people to do stuff. It's why I don't talk about it. I am so vindictive. It's not even funny. I hate everybody. Across the board. 40 days of a shutdown. Every single person should be fired, barred from any further job. Not in the industry, any further job. And maybe they'd like to feel how it's like to be, some of the homeless people that I ended up seeing on my way down to Oklahoma, having to sleep in alleyways and archways and stuff, right? I think that'd be pretty fair, shutting the entire system down for 40 days. I think that'd be incredibly fair.
Say I'm not harsh enough on the Republicans. First of all, true, but let's be honest, that's not why you come here. You go to Kyle Kulinski for that, just like you go to Destiny to see opinions you can hear on CNN, or to Hassan for dog training tips.
I have nothing good to say about Hassan.
You come here to hear, golly gee willikers, I'm left wing and the Democrats have gone crazy. That's the shit you're here for. But are the Democrats actually getting their shit together? Or did they simply get lucky in a few blue areas? One of those blue areas being my city, New York, where Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani won the election and will become the new mayor. And a lot of people are like really confused about how this happened. And if you're one of those people, you really need to keep watching.
I know from Louis Rossmann videos, he had a lot to say about Cuomo. I don't know New York. I'm not even going to pretend to understand the politics of New York, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think I've ever heard anything good about Cuomo, though.
I don't understand why Mamdani won. I'm sorry to say, but you're kind of like the liberals in 2016 who didn't understand why Trump won. It's actually extremely understandable why Zohran Mamdani won, and it's not just because New York is full of commies or whatever. He is objectively the best Democratic candidate that they've had in a very, very long time. Like, I know the bar is in hell there, but he's young, he's energetic, he's charismatic, and people are really tired of the White House doubling as a retirement home. And of course, I like many of his economic policies. I like the universal childcare thing, the transportation, flipping off the Christopher Columbus statue. That's the shit I don't like. Bitch, that's our fucking guy. He was a brave
I have nothing nice to say about Columbus.
Italian explorer who discovered America, and in this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. End of story. I've said this many times, but I don't think the good left-wing policies can even exist alongside the bad left-wing policies. Like, I don't know how you can have free transportation, but also be soft on crime. Like, I don't know, like, in what world does that work out? You can't have—
Yeah, in what world can you have somebody get trespassed from stealing from a store, like actually stealing, right? Getting trespassed, and have it happen 30 times. Not like 2 or 3. Trespassed 30 times. You want to talk about accountability? You want to talk about why we see a surge of crime? And nobody cares. If there's no consequences, people are going to do the thing.
Nice, clean, free transportation if a bunch of drug addicts and violent felons are going around stabbing people and setting them on fire. You can't have nice things if you don't have rules to enforce those nice things. You know what I mean? It's always such a breath of fucking fresh air when I go back to visit my family in the suburbs of Long Island and I go to the CVS and the fucking toothpaste is free from their plexiglass prisons. I shouldn't have to wait 10 minutes for some poor wagey to come unlock the cagey so I can buy fucking shampoo. We don't have to live that way.
We don't.
Maybe he'll do great. Or maybe he gets into power and immediately cucks to the establishment like some other people. Let's talk about it. I just don't know how the hell anyone thought Andrew Cuomo was going to win. He killed a bunch of grandmas during COVID.
As you admitted this week, you personally altered the state health department report to undercount the death total, to hide the death total, and then evaded and lied to these families for 5 years. So
you killed a shit ton of people. For what? Plus, he doesn't even live in New York City. He doesn't live in the city he's running to be mayor of. Cuomo just kind of expected to win based on name recognition alone and being like, hey, at least I'm not the other guy.
Yeah.
Sound familiar?
I mean, that's literally how that works, right? That's how bipartisan politics work. You can even take the U.S. out of the equation, right? Hey, at least I'm not that guy. Well, that guy does a lot of things, but I'm not that guy. Grats. That's how every bipartisan system works.
Trump actually offered a vision. Make America great again. Mamdani offered a vision. A New York City you can afford. So people took a chance on him. People wanted something different. Andrew Cuomo, he had no vision or anything. Oh man, I love tuning into a debate about New York City and 80% of it is about another f***ing country.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first?
First visit,
My model's hiding it, but they do have an ASL interpreter. Actually, nice touch. Love it.
would visit the Holy Land.
I would go to Israel.
I'd make my 4th trip to Israel.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would.
What is there? Like, I'm not. What? Why? What is there specifically? I feel like going to Kazakhstan would be a lot cooler. Well, it's in Kazakhstan. Aralsk 7 would be kind of cool to see a pretty interesting piece of Soviet history, right? I don't know. There's plenty of other places that I would choose personally. It's not even like oh, well, Kip, you're just trying to simply message something. It's not even that. It's just like, why there? Well, obviously we know that it's because it is a charged topic and because, that is going to ruffle some feathers, that's going to get some applause, right? We understand why, right? I don't know. There's so many infinitely better places that I would go to if I just had money to travel. You know where I could go? I'd go to Germany, okay? Not even for like Oktoberfest, not even to like go drink or stuff like that. I'd just go to Germany. Go backpack around Europe. Do literally anything else with my day.
Would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Cool.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel?
That was the exact moment I knew Zoran was going to win.
Yeah.
Bro was just surrounded by NPCs. I love how they're like, where would you go? And Zoran was like, I'm gonna stay here. And instead of being like, no, Zoran, the question was, where would you go? They're like, why wouldn't you go to Israel? Like, that's the answer to the question. Like, that's just the default answer to that question. His win.
In that's why I argue, look, at the end of the day, agree with me, disagree with me, be indifferent on what I say, right? Come to your own conclusion, be able to explain your own conclusion, right? Why did you come to that conclusion? Why do you think that way? It's not just a me thing. It's not for me, right? As much as I like seeing it, I like being able to see explanations and why people think certain ways. It's for you, so that you can say, this is why my answer is such. You can defend the answer. That already puts you on the upper end of that bell curve. That's how that works. Oh my God. But yeah, and this is the thing. This is an example of domestic policy taking precedent over, I would argue this would be a foreign policy thing, right? Using elements of foreign policy and just saying like, yo, domestic policy wise, let's make this New York state, New York City, right? Make it a little more livable, right? Deal with some of the people here, right? Thus providing the interrupt into foreign policy with domestic policy, and thus people latch onto it, right? I mean, I can see the logic here. Clearly it worked.
Was very much in part a direct response to the affordability crisis that many Americans are facing. So what is the GOP's answer to the affordability crisis? Oh, great news, guys. There is no affordability crisis. It doesn't exist. It's all in your head, silly.
Shit, you're right. My bad. See, it's right there. Everything you see on the internet is true. Absolutely.
Need to save money? Simply don't buy your grandmother a Christmas present this year.
Budget. You need a plan. Also remember, adults don't need gifts, okay? Focus on the people in your life who are age 3 to 18. Grandma doesn't need slippers. If they don't live by you, don't get them a gift. Now's not the time to spend and break the banks.
Zoran's win was also...
This is so FUBAR, it's not even funny. That is so... I'm sorry, that's dumb. Bro, like, you just have to laugh at it, dude. You have to, like, take that and realize what's being said, especially when you have, like, when it wasn't didn't the CEO of Kellogg just say we need to tighten our belts and eat more cereal? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And it's like, bro, you are so out of touch. Oh my God.
So basically a direct response to the housing crisis in America. So what is the GOP's response to the pie-in-the-sky commie gobbledygook that Zoran Mamdani is selling? Surely they have a better solution.
Here we go. The White House is floating this idea. Bill Pulte is saying, thanks to President Trump, we can indeed work on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer.
Where's my 50-year mortgage, right? I'm the Joker from, oh God, what was it? Oh, my goddamn electric car, Bruce. Where's my goddamn 50-year mortgages? This actually came up on my vacation, and people around me just like, yeah, I'll take a 50-year mortgage. It's whatever. And then Patrick Boyle did a video on like, this is actually why this doesn't work. Look at Japan when Japan tried this. Look at other countries when they tried a 50-year mortgage. See, here's the thing. If you want to make a difference, when they say something like this, such as, oh yeah, 50-year mortgage, okay? Hold him to that. You must do this. There's no backing out. There's no chickening out, okay? No taco. Do it, okay? Shit or get off the pot. Where's my 50-year mortgage? Where's my goddamn 50-year mortgage, Bruce? Bro, I'm having a blast. This is great.
How does that work in dollars? Here you go. 30-year fixed mortgage right now. You're paying $2,038 a month, principal and interest on a $400,000 home.
Where the fuck are they pulling these numbers from? Did they get like Special Officer Doofy in the basement to crayon on the wall? There's shit stain on the wall? What's happening here?
At the bottom, under 50 years, you'd save a couple $100 a month at $1,822 principal and interest. That is proposed. Do you like this idea?
So you want to know how this math doesn't work? So 30 years. do I have a calculator next to me? Of course I don't have a calculator like next to me. How could I not? 2,000 times, 30 years, right? So you're saving about, with a 40 year, right? You're saving about $110 a month, but that's 1,800 times 40. That's going to be more. 50 years. 1,822, $180 being saved across 50 months. Don't piss on my face and tell me it's raining, okay? That is literally more. Oh my God. Bro, can we actually just like, you can tell the people pitching this are definitely the kids that were supposed to be left behind, okay? I am upset that my peers were not left behind when they failed school. Oh God. Math is hard, my bad.
Dollars, principal, and interest. That is proposed. Do you like this idea?
I do not like this idea.
Not lowering prices, not building more housing. No, just being a good little slave to the bank for 50 years. You might as well be a rentoid forever in this case. Like, at least you don't have to fix your own dishwasher. You will own nothing and be happy. Doesn't that sound great, Gen Z?
Oh, no, that's monthly. That is $1,800 monthly for 50 years. So, what? 60, wait, what's the math there? So 12 times, I'm losing it. 12 times 50, right? 12 times 5, 60. 600 months! Probably mathing that wrong. I'm probably not proving the VTuber stereotype wrong of VTubers can't do math. Ironic, because I did work in finance.
Vote for us. We'll release the Epstein files and finally drain the swamp. Awesome. Finally, justice. Here it comes, the Epstein Files Phase 1. We got all your favorite E-celebs here. Don't you think that's a little tacky? I mean, like, this is an international child trap. The Epstein Files are on my desk. Oh, that's great, that's great. That's what we've been waiting for. Well? Oh, they don't exist. Wait,
yeah, exactly.
What? Yeah, the Epstein Files don't exist.
Yeah, they don't exist. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're a Democrat hoax. But you just said, hey, what the f***? That's my wallet. Sorry, Israel needs new weapons. Bye. Psst. What do you want, Democrat? Vote for us. Why? What do you have to offer? Hey, that's my wallet again. What are you people doing? Sorry. Israel needs new weapons. Bye.
I mean, Israel's a nuclear superpower, right? Last I checked, they had a functioning nuclear program. I don't know. I'm going to be honest, that is well outside of my expertise. This skit was funny, though. $1,800 per month over 50 years. Works out to $1,080,000. Thank you, Raven. Thank you for the resub as well. Thank you, Wolf Frontier, for the resub as well.
The Epstein Files are a really big deal. This is not a partisan issue. You should absolutely care about an international child trafficking blackmail operation consisting of the most powerful people in the world.
Oh, 100%. My second question is, did the CIA know about this? Because the CIA, we know back in the 80s, they did a lot of really interesting stuff, especially with French, not aristocrats, French politicians, right? Yeah, once again, CIA. Why wasn't it smashed into a million tiny pieces? How did that? We want to talk about Watergate, but we don't want to talk about the CIA. We don't want to talk about how the CIA literally was Operation Northwoods false flag attack on the U.S. Literally a thing that was declassified, and the people who were responsible for that just got to live normal lives just fine. Kind of like how I'm pretty sure there are doctors today who practiced lobotomies, right? When that was cutting edge mental health, right? So that's fun food for thought. Because asylums, as we knew them, shut down in the 90s, did they not? Doctors today could have been performing lobotomies. If you wanted a little bit of existential dread for your day.
And anyone telling you to move on is coping, gaslighting, or in on it.
Correct.
If whatever is in there is so damning that it is a national security risk, the people
Don't you talk to me about national security. You can F off with that.
People deserve to know. Like, I don't know about you, but if we are paying taxes to a bunch of satanic pedophiles, I would like to know. That is information I would like to know. Like,
No. The Satanists, they're in the clear. I'm pretty sure. Maybe, I don't know. Pretty sure their whole Bible would definitely not like a lot of what's going to be in those files. So I don't know. It's such a weird one to talk about. And that's the thing, is it's like, let's be real, they're never coming out. It's not happening.
I already know we're doing that, but I would like some confirmation. Okay, so literally as I am filming this, Trump is saying he is releasing the Epstein files. So I guess they weren't a hoax. I'm gonna be
No, he's not.
so honest. I have no idea what the is going on, you guys. I'm sure when this video gets posted, there's already going to be more things that have happened. Also, Mike Johnson apparently said they need to make changes to the files to make sure we, quote, don't do permanent damage to the political system.
I don't even know who this person is. I already don't like them. Because they're dumb.
If releasing the Epstein files would do damage to the political system, then so be it. Then it deserves to be damaged. It deserves to be destroyed. Just release the files.
Yeah, like the CIA and doing all the CIA things they did through the 60s and 80s. Why isn't that smashed into a million tiny pieces? I'm going to keep talking about that because that is pretty dumb. Pretty damning.
After all, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
Yep.
Isn't that right, government? But it wasn't just the Epstein files thing that has MAGA feeling a little demoralized lately.
Does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent.
So, in L5R terms, -2 honor, you ended up interrupting. That is not professional. That is not courteous. That is not kind. That is not befitting of the post.
We have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people.
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
We've talked about this a few times on this channel. Actually,
oh my God, can someone put him in speech therapy, please? I'm tired of him. Like, mate, you have to understand, okay? Like, I saw special ed classrooms in high school. Every single person, every single kid in those rooms speaks more fluently and eloquently than he does. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, he's such a clown.
Very recently in the male loser epidemic video, the no talented Americans thing is a myth pushed on us by corpos and billionaires, so they can hire foreign workers who will work for less money and won't unionize. Worker drones who will work under the coercion of deportation, essentially creating infinite scab labor. Even though there are so many Americans in these fields looking for jobs. But those spoiled Americans will ask for a living wage so they can live in a 600-foot square apartment. How dare they? We can't do that. So
to clarify, I don't feel like I'm asking the world. I'm just asking for someone to put on the performance. Put on the performance of, why yes, I am John Politician. I understand what you're saying and definitely understand your concerns. However, we have found that this, in fact, works best. Your concerns are such, but what we have found does not support this conclusion. Therefore, this is what we will be doing. Bro, you play the game like everyone else. Bullshit me like everyone else. Come on now. I'm not asking the world.
Deport 1 billion immigrants. After all, it's good for business.
Folks are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States.
If we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business.
Unfortunately, America does feel like nothing but 3 corporations in a trench coat. But America is not a business. America is not a corporation. It is a nation. The contrast of what Trump is saying here compared to how he used to talk is staggering. Republicans embracing populism, at least rhetorically, is what gave rise to Donald Trump and fundamentally changed the way Republicans do politics in America. If you go back and watch the debates of Donald Trump in 2016, it's crazy.
We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. They lied. They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none.
So wait a minute. I thought George W. Bush Jr., I thought he was a Republican. So why is he... Dude, I'm so confused. I mean, it's one of those that it's going to be hot button issue. A lot of people are absolutely, because of the subject material, going to be looking at this with heavy criticism. But you're also kind of like shitting on your own party. I don't know, man. I don't know.
No weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
I remember being like, damn, that's not how politicians in general really talked at that time.
No.
Like, we would see it from Bernie Sanders and maybe like Ron Paul, but to get up on stage in a Republican debate in front of Republican donors saying that kind of shit was unheard of. Bro was getting booed. Trump won in 2016 by decrying the bloodlust and warmongering of the Republican Party, but also by speaking to the economic woes of the average working class American. Basically saying, I see you, to people who felt like they haven't been seen by either party in a very long time.
Wow, who else does that sound like? It's almost like we've talked about this exact same thing in regards to Andrew Tate and the whole alpha male thing. Weird. It's almost like when you talk to people, when you acknowledge that they exist, even if you're trying to sell them the Eiffel Tower, right? They'll listen to you. And if anything, what we can take from that is people are so divided. People are so ostracized. People are so hurt. People are so alone. It's no wonder why we have things like this. It's no wonder why we have a bunch of people trying to sell people stuff, right? Hey, I got a bridge to sell you. Right? Like, you don't have the bridge, but clearly because you talk to people, they listen to you. Like, yeah.
Like, I saw people in my life, my neighbors and stuff, that were all like Obama voters, like just flipped to Trump, and now like all of Long Island. Long Island is like the Florida of the Northeast, bro. It is like Trump country there now. Before Trump... Oh, my nuggies are here. My nuggies are here. 1 second. 1 second. I must go get my nuggies.
That's relevant.
It's nuggie time.
Amazing.
34-year-old woman, by the way. Mother, by the way. Before
Nice.
Trump, the Democrats basically relied on talking about how the Republican Party didn't care about the working class. But eventually, the problem for Democrats was the working class didn't care about them. But now it seems like the Republican Party is going back on all that and becoming the Bush-era neoconservative party again, right as they're winning, embracing freaks like Lindsey Graham.
So I just want to say, I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes. Trump is my favorite president. We've run out of bombs. We didn't run out of bombs in World War II.
Republicans...
That feels wrong. Like, do you have a source on that, my guy? Obviously, source not needed because, like, it's clearly a talking point. You could even argue hyperbolic, right? But it's like... Okay.
Is that what you want your party to be? Lowering taxes and killing people? We tried that already. To many Republicans, the solution to the affordability crisis wreaking havoc on Americans is simply trusting the free market, working hard, and if that doesn't work, they bust out all reliable.
If you're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here.
Is this AI? What is this? I'm looking at the hairline and how that interacts. I can't... This feels AI.
I mean, that is a real thing. Yeah, I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up.
What is... I genuinely don't know if this is AI or not.
The reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that.
Ah yes, the classic. Just move. Just move from Economic Zone 67 to Economic Zone 69. I don't know, man. Maybe some people actually like where they live. Maybe they want to make their community better. This is like the libertarian version of just deal with it when you talk to leftists about crime. Like, no, we shouldn't just deal with it. We shouldn't just move. Maybe we can make the cities in our country livable and safe. Maybe better things are possible, actually. My husband and I moved away from our families because of his job, and it f***ing sucks. It sucks raising kids without an extended family around. Say hi to grandma on FaceTime. Not normal, not natural. When I was growing up, it was like aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents were just coming in and out of my house, like bringing over food, like, hey, I got some mancati. I would be babysat by my cousins and my aunts. And because we moved away, my kid won't have that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's one reason many young people are putting off having children. The complete lack of community, the lack...
Okay.
Of a village. If you can't.
So I was going to let her finish on that. So hear me out. The whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps generation, right? If you can't afford a kid, don't have a kid. And I've had this exact argument with quote unquote adults in my life, where, well, I wish that my kids would have their own kids at some point, and I want to be a grandmother or grandfather. And it's like, did your generation not tell us if you cannot afford it, don't have a kid? We can't afford houses. We can barely afford apartments without other people, right? Roommates, right? What makes you think we're going to have kids? Well, because we can't afford it. Like that's what you told us. Well, and the response is, well, you're supposed to move on from that. And it's like, oh, boo-hoo. Like, it's so that comes across as hypocrisy to me, right? Now, we do have statements that are like overarching statements with an obvious asterisk, right? And like, yeah, that's how people work. Come on, don't give life advice and then immediately redact your life advice when it's inconvenient for you. If anything, people like me look at you in a much less favorable light because clearly you're just bullshitting us, and clearly you can't defend your position. Like, no, we can't afford it. We're not going to have kids. There's a decline in medical personnel, especially when medical complications, right? Ectopic pregnancies are a thing, right? Number of complications that happen during the pregnancy process, right? Who can afford that, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck? Oh, but you're just supposed to move on from it. Oh, yeah, Mom, and I'm sure that you, back in 1986, having a fling with that one chick was just a phase. Oh, it's just a phase, I've never thought about women since. Okay, sure, Mom, sure, whatever. Not my mom, somebody's mom. Because these are the same people who go, oh, sweetie, it's just a phase. You'll grow out of it. And it's like, so what if it's a phase? Go away.
Can't afford to live where your family lives, just move to fucking Gary, Indiana, where there's nobody around and no jobs and no family and no friends, but hey, at least you can afford a house there. Yeah. That's not how life should work, Ben. Maybe take a step back and try to understand. Am I doing bird hands too much? You guys have made me so insecure about the fucking bird hands thing ever since this meme.
What's happening? Brings out this hand gesture, get ready to hear the worst take of your life. Bro, I missed this. I totally missed this meme.
Listen, I'm a woman, okay? We are programmed to scold children. And when no children are around, we scold people on the internet, okay? Anyway, Nick Fuentes is a far-right commentator and a...
Yeah, who is this guy? He looks like he's pinching in, like once again, dude, like, he's got that mad shit just waiting. He's touching cloth. Who is this man? Why is this man? Why do I keep hearing his name? Is this the person we were seeing back here? This... whatever the hell this AI was? Chat saying this was real. Could have fooled me. Doesn't move his face.
Controversial figure to say the least. But his main topic he covers is Israel, which is an extremely hot topic that many other right-wing commentators...
I look at this and I'm just like, that man is sitting on an 8-inch log. Dude is not having a good day.
Seem to not want to touch. And the rare times they do touch it, it's them telling you not to talk about it, questioning why you care so much, or shape-shifting into the woke mob they fought against for so many years, calling you names, calling for you to be censored. What's funny is they didn't care about any of Nick Fuentes' rants on, like, race or women.
So going back to the whole phase thing really quick, because someone in chat mentioned it. Dude, the amount of boob jokes my mom has made while also being homophobic. Hear me out, okay? Society's not ready for this one, okay? There are a lot of straight, quote-unquote, men with a shirtless Donald Trump all over their car, posters in their home, okay? Look, I'm not saying it's gay. But bringing this up to a gay man and asking, this seems pretty gay, right? The gay man responds with, it's pretty gay. Shirtless. He's got the fucking abs going, the pecs, the biceps oiled up. He's got the grenade launcher, the bandoliers of, rounds. Come on. Okay. I get it. It's fine. Okay. No, it's 2025. Okay. Be gay. Be bi. Be pan. Okay. Don't fucking piss on my face and tell me it's raining. Okay. Having a shirtless, oiled up dude, even if it's AI, plastered over your truck, it's pretty gay. You know, like me having this wonderful jiggly model. Fellas, it's pretty gay. Sorry, we're letting her continue on this Fuentes dude.
They only started caring when his rants on Israel were blowing up. Nick recently did an interview with Tucker Carlson, which completely ignited the MAGA civil.
I will never, because of how his interview with Vladimir Putin went, Carlson has zero credibility with me. I will not listen to anything that man says because he fumbled that interview.
War that was brewing on the right for some time now. It got so ridiculous that even Chuck Schumer went on the Senate floor and called for a disavowal of Nick Fuentes. Sir, with all due respect, none. Why do politicians need a resolution in the Senate to disagree with a citizen? Hello, I have gathered you all here today to disavow Hitler Bussy 420. People can't afford groceries, Charles. Ben Shapiro, in particular, has spent the last...
Oh, it is Ben Shapiro. Ah, he still looks like he's wearing someone else's skin. Ugh.
Few months extremely confused and angry about Zoran Mamdani and Nick Fuentes becoming popular in the mainstream, all while his numbers continue to drop. I honestly don't think he understands what is happening here, so I am going to explain to you, Ben, what exactly is going on here. The American dream does not exist anymore for most people. Young people followed advice that worked for older generations, and it got them nowhere.
See, okay. Here, I'm gonna speak to the generational gap here, right, and the lack of understanding here, right. The advice being given does work, right? You want to go get a degree or go get a get into a trade, and you want to go work for a company for 30 to 40 years. You want to build up that rapport. You want to be a good little worker at the office. You want to play nice, right? In a world where, like, yeah, pensions still existed and companies actually gave a shit, baller advice, 100%. But the problem we run into is when times change and the care is not there anymore, because companies will just lay you off. The CEO shows up to a Zoom call for 10 minutes, fires a bunch of people, and then leaves. And there's no accountability. You have CEOs like Destiny, Bungie CEO, right? Who bought a bunch of cars and he gets a golden parachute. Or like Bobby Kotick, right? Whatever he's doing now, right? And that's strictly in gaming, right? You know, but apply it to wherever else you will, right? It's like, nobody cares about the person working on the ground. Promotions are, rarely done from within, right? How many times at your job have you had someone hires a manager, right, from outside? Or, maybe one manager promotes, to a position, and then that position gets filled by, someone else who doesn't do the job because they'll have to watch them. Well, you do the job and you do your job well, so we're not going to promote you, so we know that job continues to get done well and you do the work of two people. So we're going to promote the guy who doesn't show up for work because we need to keep an eye on him. In what world does that make sense? The answer is on the unfortunate world we live in. So it's one of those points where I feel the generations are talking past each other, and that understanding isn't quite there at a generalized perspective.
People are tired of this stale, moldy, old, dead consensus that has dominated American politics for a very long time. The one that dragged us into all these foreign wars and sold us out for some cheap plastic shit from China. Young people are tired of being told to sit down and shut up and pledge allegiance to the free market in a country that seems to not give a shit about them, as well as a foreign country they have absolutely no connection to. For so long, establishment hacks and establishment shills looked at the issues bothering the people and just kind of dismissed them. Can't afford to live where you grew up? Just move. Don't like that the toothpaste is locked behind plexiglass? Just deal with it. Think it's kind of f***ed up.
So, before I let her continue on this, the just move only works so much, right? Let's say tomorrow I had the capital move to, I don't know, Germany or Japan or, I don't know, like London, right? Let's just say I could move anywhere else but the US, right? Vietnam, whatever. I will still be dealing with issues. It's what issues you want to deal with. Yes, absolutely. Such as if you're not wanting as heavy firearm restrictions in the US, you'll go to a place like Idaho or Texas, right? If you're wanting certain things, that's, you go different places, right? But the problem is that, especially like we're seeing, right? How many people in the past 6 months, right, have everything in their life is political. Everyone wants to talk politics with them. And that's why I like to have fun and I like to laugh and do things, right? And we're laughing at this as well, but it's also pretty heavy subject material. So I don't blame anybody who clicks off and is just like, I can't deal with it. I've been watching Simon Whistler Warfront videos again, which has been very fun. But that's things I usually do off stream. But like, you will always have to deal with things. And we're going to see more Gary Indianas. We're going to see more and more people displaced as companies try to, work with tax legislation and shipping jobs overseas and the more and more prevalent uses of generative AI and building more facilities. There is going to be a point where there is a tax collected. There is going to be a price paid. And I don't think people are planning for the long term. If there are no jobs, people cannot have money. If people don't have money, people can't buy things. If people can't buy things or live comfortably, yeah, they start going to a life of crime. They start doing less than savory things, or they just give up. That this is not politics as much as it's basic common sense, right? Let's go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Whatever order you want to put things in, because I guess that's subject to the individual. If people can't be fed, if people can't have security and safety, if people don't have a roof over their head, are people necessarily going to do the best, be the best, reach their full potential? No. So what's the end goal here? Right? There's it's silly because a lot of this I feel is perpetuated by incompetence and a good amount of stupidity. And I can't wait for the reckoning, quote unquote, to come when you have, CEOs, family of big wealthy individuals. They're going to have to get their hands dirty because suddenly they can't get their macchiato or their breakfast burrito. And suddenly there's going to be issues. There's going to be issues when they can't hire staff. There's going to be issues when suddenly they become an Ouroboros and eat themselves, right, proverbially, with their own greed. They're going to strangle themselves on their own cash flow. And I think that would be very funny to see. Very interesting, at least.
How you work 40 hours a week and still can't afford to pay rent? What are you, some kind of communist? You don't like funding a genocide with your tax dollars? What are you, anti-Semitic? If you don't address the issues of the people will gravitate towards those who are addressing those issues. It's not Mamdani's fault he won. It's yours. It's not Nick Fuentes' fault he's popular. It's yours. The tragedy of Ben Shapiro is that he led a life worshipping the free market, only to lose in the free marketplace of ideas. Now, with all this neocon rhetoric coming out of the GOP, are the Democrats going to pick up the populist ball that they are fumbling? Are they actually going to get their shit together? Well, they are trying because they have written an article called Deciding to Win, where after—
Why? Here's the thing, it's not going to happen, right? Like, executive order, grats, funny Dorito man just declares he's king. Grats, that's how that works. What? You want to challenge that? Who's going to challenge it? The Supreme Court? The Senate? Congress? Which, mind you, is a majority? So, like, it's also really funny because you bring up this point, the whole king point, and nobody likes to talk about it. The same people who go, yeah, that'd be really funny, when you're like, so when's this happening? Or hey, what's going to happen? Radio silence. And it's really funny every time I've seen it.
They're interviewing over 300,000 American voters from both parties. They may have finally discovered the secret to winning.
To give ourselves the best chance to win, we recommend the following changes to our approach. Democrats need to 1. Focus our messaging on an economic program centered on lowering costs, growing the economy, creating jobs, and expanding the social safety net. 2. Advocate for popular economic policies. Moderate our positions where our agenda is unpopular.
Did we just skip 3?
For popular economic policies. Moderate
Okay, we did.
our positions where our agenda is unpopular, including on issues like immigration, public safety, energy production, and some identity and cultural issues.
So basically it took you guys 10 years, millions of dollars, and dozens of Microsoft team meetings to come to the conclusion that everyone has been saying forever. You wasted a—
This is the equivalent of, we spent 5 years in R&D, and we've spent, billions of dollars on this to acknowledge there might be a problem. Bro, I wish I had millions to throw around. Come on now. Like, oh my god. It's like, this is where common sense goes to die. And just like, I don't have words. What do you do with that?
Decade worshipping at the altar of mentally ill Karens, and now you're acting like, hey, what if we were normal is a groundbreaking political discovery. F*** you. I could have told you all this for free. It is a bad sign that it took you over a decade to come to the same conclusion that my audience has come to like a decade ago. And they're all retarded. Please
I know I certainly am.
reflect on this, I beg of you. Also, what do you mean you had unpopular positions on public safety? Like, why would you even say that out loud? Yeah, let's vote for the party that admits it was wrong about the issue of crackheads shanking people in the street. I love this quote from Nancy Pelosi, randomly shoved in here.
Winning an election is a decision. You make a decision to win, and then you make every decision in favor of winning.
I'm sorry, is that how that works? I'm just going to decide now that I'm going to start making $500,000 a year, and I will be buying a castle in Germany in the next 5 years. I can just decide that, right? Like, I will manifest... Wait a minute. It's almost like I've heard this word somewhere. Have they been watching TikTok again? Oh, God. Oh, come on. It's too funny. It's really funny. Bro, they're trying to, like manifest, like, whatever. Oh, my God. This is funny. This is great.
How deep? How thought-provoking. Thank you, Nancy. What would we do without you? Probably win an election.
Democrats have changed our focus. In comparison with the Democratic Party of 2012, today's Democratic Party is more focused on issues like climate change, democracy, abortion, and identity and cultural concerns, and less focused on the economy and middle class. The table below shows this shift. Through an analysis of the prevalence of selected words in the 2024 Democratic Party platform, in comparison with the 2012 Democratic Party platform.
This whole study is really interesting, but I need you guys to see this chart because when I first saw this, the scream I screamed. So Democrats since 2012 have increased their rhetoric on race by, sit down, 1,137%.
So that's not how percentages are supposed to work, right? Okay, so mechanically that's how percentages work, right? But like it's mind-numbing to try to imagine a 1,000% increase, right? Like, 46% increase, 22% increase, 107% increase, maybe even a 200% increase, right? Like, your brain can kind of wrap around that, right? We've seen 100% increase in sales. We've doubled it, right? 200% increase in sales, right? Okay, we've 3x'd, right? 1,100%. I agree. Just say 10x or 11x at that point. Like, you might even appeal to the crypto bros. Diamond hand hodl, bro. Oh my God.
The gays, 1,044%. Their rhetoric on men has decreased by 51%. It is now negative 51%. On fathers, negative 100%. They just stopped talking about that shit. Veterans, negative 31. F them. The economy, negative 51 because nobody cares about that, right? The middle class, 79%, but I guess you can't really talk about something that is disappearing.
So here's the thing with the military, though. Like, the whole government shut down. How many big creators talked about it? How many big creators drew attention to the military not getting paid? How many veterans advocates? And this is what really like makes my bunghole itch, right? How many veteran advocates stood by while there was uncertainty in active and former veterans, right? Right, those actively serving and not actively serving. How many of them actually gave support? How many of them actually said this is a thing we need to, get people into the office and get this shutdown going, right? To make sure our military is paid, our vets are paid. Nobody. I'm sure there were. It was crickets to me, and that really made my bunghole itch. Like, and that's the thing. I, as a dinkus on the internet, see this and go, cool. This is the thing that nobody's talking about. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to hammer home we should be talking about this. And it's not just the military as well. Grants, certain programs and stuff, even non-military, just came to a screeching halt. Wow, but these people are still getting paid. interesting. Maybe they should not have a job tomorrow, and maybe they should be this homeless crack demographic that people keep talking about. Okay, just get get Congress, get the Senate, get everyone out, and let them live as many Americans are. I think that would be fair. Okay, let's get Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's go get, Bernie Sanders. Let's go get, everybody, Commander-in-Chief as well. Let's have them go for a ruck with Marines, okay? Because they should be fit. They should be able to, go for a run and make decisions, right? They should be having to do the things of people they're not paying what they have to do. I think that would be fair. But that's unfortunately not the world we live in. So yeah, we're going to have, what's his face? The guy who just strokes out and looks like a turtle. I literally can't remember his name right now. I was going to bring him up. Man, I hope he doesn't retire. I hope he stays in indefinitely. So he just has to, work until he eventually expires.
And jobs, -47%. It somehow gets worse. Apparently, voters trust Republicans more on the most important issues to them, and trust Democrats the most on the least important issues to them. Like, they literally care the least about LGBT, but trust Democrats the most with it. The most popular Democratic policies among voters are things like lowering drug prices, banning stock trading, expanding Medicare, and raising the minimum wage.
Was that Reagan? Was that Reagan that did the stock buyback bullshit? It was the 80s, right? Something companies, corporations may now do stock buybacks, or at least do so with less oversight. Was that Reagan again? Man, I have a bone to pick with Reagan. when does he get reanimated like a lich, and then we turn him into the lizard from Dungeon Soup? We're gonna prop him up on a spike. I'm actually really sick of hearing stock buybacks, if I'm being honest. I'm just, every time I hear it, I kind of just shake my head and go, wow, this is dumb.
While the most unpopular Democratic policies are things like abolishing the police, providing free healthcare to illegal immigrants, and affirmative action. You're telling me this for the first time. Democrats, here is some advice for free. You can't just be MAGA light. Why would people drink Mr. Pibb when Dr. Pepper is right there? You know what I'm saying? You gotta...
Because Mr. Pibb is like $1 cheaper. Excuse you, have you seen drinks in this economy? I'm gonna go cheap as I can, baby.
Bring something different, something better to the table. And that difference should be working class focused economic populism.
Oh my God, have you seen the price of Cheez-Its, chat? I want you, next time you go to the store, look at the price of Cheez-Its. That is actually insane. I think it was like $6 to $8. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Bro, I will take the Big Mac for like $1 more for like a medium Big Mac meal. I ain't messing with no $8 Cheez-Its. I ain't that bougie. Oh my God.
I don't just want 2 neocon parties, okay? But all of this is pointless when it's clear the Dems are not changing at all. They're just gonna change their messaging. They're putting pretty wrapping paper and a bow on a big fat smelly turd. There is a chance that the Democrats may win based entirely on Orange Man bad. Again. Which means they might get into office by learning absolutely f***ing nothing.
I would argue that is problematic. And that's the thing, right? Like, I try to obfuscate what I can, right? Because ultimately at the end of the day, believe what you want, like what you want. I'm going to do like what I want and believe in what I want and vote the way I want. It's none of your goddamn business. It's not my goddamn business who you vote for, right? This is the problem with lesser evil voting and or bipartisan voting is that you can have people win because they're not that guy, at least, or they're not that party. And then you have the same issues because absolutely nothing of value is gained. That is objectively a problem. Nothing was learned. Nothing is learned. All you have to do is give flowery speeches and, performatively support things. And suddenly, oh, well, now that we have, majority, that's the problem. People are sick of this pendulum shit. People are sick of shit swinging back and forth, right? People pine for the days when you could vote for someone on their skill and merit and platform rather than the color of tie that they have, right? Like, like you hear about this and you have to laugh, right? Like, you have to, you can't help but laugh because of how silly and absurd it sounds, right? And at the end of the day, it's politicians and the rich are just going to profit off of everyday people, right? You going to your 9 to 5, you going to your factory job, you doing your trucking job, making sure that Mitch McConnell can purchase his whatever he purchases, right? But you as a trucker have to bring that there. You as supermarket staff or store staff have to be there and be willing to assist and sell them, right? You as the person producing it have to either vertically integrate things in your business model or, be able to source things, which sourcing things, guess what? Comes a lot more expensive when tariffs get involved, right? And it's just a lot of bullshit, and people are done with the bullshit. You don't need to have some degree. You don't need to be some politician. You don't need to be, some Nick Fuentes. I still don't even know who this man is, right? Like, you can just look at this from common sense and go, damn, this sucks. Like, go show pony and do whatever the hell you guys want, but leave us, a generalized population, out of it. And I think that speaks to people, right? And so here's the danger of this, and this is why I've throughout the past year or so kind of run into a conflict of interest, because I'll say things, and I do have that kind of like gift of gab, where I can talk about things, right? I would argue a lesser person would attempt to talk about what I just did, subjects like I do, and try to appeal to your ethos, pathos, and logos, and then try to sell you a product. Or try to, say, well, you shouldn't support this, finger wag you, because that would be wrong. You should support what I support. Like what you want, support who you want, come to your own conclusions. I say it because out of fear a little bit, right? Because I don't want to be some influencer who just, tries to sell you a product, hawk something at you, but someone who can talk about these things when it matters, right? Especially after a 40-day government shutdown, and talk to the truck driver, working overtime to get things going, talk to the person in the military who's really unsure when he's going to get paid and be able to pay on his mortgage, or his Dodge Charger that he got at a highway robbery interest rate on base. Because that definitely happens, right? Or the person working customer service, or the person who has to, rely on government benefits because they just don't make enough. And they need that extra help. They're not abusing the system by any means, but they need that extra help. That's what I can do, is have the conversation and open the door, and ultimately at the end of the day, leave you as the viewer, as the commenter, as someone to come to your own conclusion, right? We're all sick of the bullshit. Simple as. And I'm trying to do the best that I can to weave through my own personal fears of being someone who feels like I'm trying to manipulate people's point of view. And just, this is what I think on this subject. Yeah, shit's fucked. We'll get through it together, though, and then really go with that.
Again. Then the voters will go, oh my god, nothing has changed, and then they'll vote for a Republican. American politics is just a revolving door of villains, isn't it? Rest assured, whoever wins, we lose. If you're actually gonna do this shit, if you're actually gonna do what you're saying in this little article, you better be going whole hog, not just the tip. I'm talking embracing shoesalism.
Oh no! Oh no! Where's my communist flag? Not that I have one. I was actually going to go find a GIF.
For many years, I have been smeared as many things. Grifter, flip-flopper, fence-sitter, racist, sexist, homophobic. But I am not a grifter, flip-flopper, or a fence-sitter. I'm simply living in 2055. You see, America has been a hyper-capitalist, economically center-right, socially center-left country since about the mid-century. And I know libertarians in my audience are gonna be like, it's not capitalism, it's cronyism. Okay, whatever the f you wanna call it, it sucks, okay? So what if instead, and hear me out, what if instead we were a more people-focused, community-focused, working-class-focused, economically left, socially right country? All the data shows more people fall into that quadrant, the populist quadrant, the Shoesalist quadrant, if you will, than the current system we are in today. If a Shoesalist party existed, it would be incredibly popular, but it doesn't exist. And that's probably by design, honestly.
If I understand it correctly, any new parties are de-incentivized from actually coming about. I don't know much about the independent party, but I know it gets like single-digit percentage of seats and stuff, but like there's I would have to have a few discussions on it to really wrap my head around it. There's a reason why we don't have the Shoesalist party, the KIP party, the Veterans party. From an actual standpoint, why don't we have a Veterans party, right? We're focused on veterans and veterans affairs. What's your stance on abortion? We're focused on veterans and veterans affairs. Okay, well, what's your stance on this other country? We're focused on veterans and veterans affairs. What part of that do you not get? Why does the U.S. not have that? Whatever the answer is, I don't have the I don't have the requisite understanding to answer that, and I apologize about that. That's something I'd have to really speak about and understand and grapple with. But the reason we don't have a veterans party, the reason we don't have a workers party, but Funny Mustache Man also kind of ruined that one. But yeah, the reason why we don't have a veterans party, the reason why we don't have an employees party, the reason why we don't have an essential worker party, right, is there's reasons. I could not recall reasons off the top of my head, but I'm assuming there are reasons why we don't have these. So that's something I'm going to have to dig about myself personally. I apologize. I really didn't come to this conversation prepared. But yeah, I think it's interesting to think about and really kind of reflect on why there isn't a veterans party, especially because for the past, century, if you really love America, you love our troops, right? And that's my big sticking point.
The Social Democrat Party of Denmark has passed many progressive policies that liberals in America would only dream of. Protection from rent hikes, free college and healthcare, carbon taxes, and a very strong welfare system. But the Social Democrat Party also believes in a strict immigration policy. They believe that if immigration is too fast or chaotic, it puts pressure on working class communities, weakens social unity, and makes it harder to maintain their strong welfare system. Wow, what a f***ing grifter Denmark is. I feel like so many people nowadays are like terminally left-right brain to the point where like they look at issues and instead of being like, that solution makes sense to me, I believe that, I agree with that, they instead go, that's the left-wing solution, therefore I will believe in that. And it's so stupid and hyper-partisan and makes absolutely no sense to me, and that's why I think like a lot of left-right brain hyper-partisan people don't understand me or people like me. That's why they call me a centrist or fence-sitter or flip-flopper or whatever. And it's like, no, I'm not a fence-sitter. I have many strong opinions. You just don't like them. And no.
Oh, I feel that one. I don't know. I also write off that people on the internet are just fucking stupid. Like the two people who've accused me of stolen valor. I hope they go sit on a cactus, right? Absolute just fucking morons. But do I lament on it? Do I cry over it? Do I get upset over it? Or do I acknowledge you're fucking stupid and move on and do literally anything else with my day? The actual answer is the latter of the two, because that's the healthier way. People on the internet are stupid. Simple as. People say things on the internet they would not say to you in real life, and that's just part of understanding it.
I'm not a flip-flopper just because you don't understand the concept of having opinions that don't perfectly fall on the arbitrary, always changing left-right axis that is American circus politics. There's nothing incoherent about my beliefs on paper. None of them contradict one another. I don't understand. She likes free healthcare but doesn't want to chemically castrate children? She believes in workers' rights but wants a stricter border? I don't get it. Like, where is the contradiction? I'm basically just Bernie Sanders before he got his spine surgically removed by the DNC. In conclusion, MAGA and the Republican Party embracing populism is what made them so popular in the first place. But if the Republican Party's answer to all these issues young people are having is, F you, just move, you're not talented, maybe you'll own a home when you're 70 years old, they're doomed. Like, they had a small, brief fling with populism.
I will say, do we not have evidence that the average age of a home buyer right now is 40? That is the average new home buyer. Just throwing it out there.
And ghosted it. Just pumped and dumped. Like a fat whore they're ashamed of and won't bring out on dates in public.
As I'm editing this, Trump and Mamdani had a meeting together and it was very interesting.
We were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes and people had no idea. When he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters.
Why is he pausing? Like, I, as a small content creator, yeah, I stumble over my words. My speech pattern is awful. I understand my speech pattern is awful. You don't say in a position like this. I've noticed a bunch of newscasters, a bunch of professionals are doing this now. They're interlacing literally not elementary school. Yeah, I guess elementary school. High school. Your speeches, you're delivering a speech to the class. What do you omit? Your your uhs, your unnecessary pausing. Say what you're wanting to say. Be eloquent about it. Be fluent about it, right? It's just, I look at this and I just go, does he just have something mentally going on? Is he unable to speak?
Voted for me, and I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. We agree on a lot more than I would have thought.
I'm sorry, this is my new favorite problematic yaoi ship. They love each other. Maybe it's not over, folks. Maybe the power of friendship and populism will save us all. Listen, I want my kids to grow up in a safe and affordable world where they can get jobs and they can start a family and then they can have the same for their kids. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's what most people want.
Yeah, that's the goal. And that's the thing. When I complain about ye oldie boomer who bought their house in 19-something for $60,000 and is now trying to sell it for $700,000, $800,000, it's like, yeah, I'm going to complain about it. Because, yeah, you had specific market opportunities. You had, yes, dollar worth more back then. But even if you look at inflation charts and stuff like that, when you've closed out opportunities and you're actively pulling the ladder up behind you, that becomes my problem. That's dumb as fuck.
And right, they just have different ideas on how to get there. It just so happens my ideas happen to be the correct ones, and if you disagree with them, you will be sent to the re-education camp.
Not the gulag, not the gulag. Wait a minute, we have to focus on branding, not the shoe lock.
Want one? Do you want a nuggie? Pledge your allegiance to Shoesalism, and you get a nuggie. So that was that little.
Does your flag have a battle axe, like the lesbian flag? Because that would be a pretty good selling point.
Video. If you liked it, please subscribe for more. And if you want to help support the channel, donate to my Patreon, link down below. All patrons get every single video uncensored a day early. If you can't or don't want to support me on Patreon, that's fine. I don't care. I didn't want you to anyway. Baka. Okay, I will see you guys soon with a fun slop video just in time for Christmas. Bye.
Not shoe slop. Oh, this is a video. This is wild, dude. Oh my god. What's the ending? I'm ready for this. What's my Marvel credit scene? No, she didn't do an end credit scene. No. This video is funny as fuck, bro. Look, I break out the politics very rarely. And this is evidence of why I don't break it out, because I laugh at everything and hate everybody. And at the end of the day, I'm just gonna just do literally anything else with your fucking time. Like, I don't know, man. It's so these people are so out of touch. These people are so mentally deficient in the middle of a conversation, being we have spent millions of dollars in multiple years and have concluded there might be a problem. Fuck off. So it was funny as fuck. Come to your own conclusion, whatever that may be. Just be able to defend it. I think that's all anyone can really ask of you. Thank you for watching another silly video. Hopefully the funny model added something to this, and I will see you all in the next one.